Imagine a world where the Syrian regime has fallen. The streets are filled with rubble and the once bustling cities are now ghost towns. The collapse of the regime has left a power vacuum, leading to chaos and uncertainty. Various factions are vying for control, and the humanitarian crisis is worsening by the day. The international community is watching closely, but intervention is fraught with complications. It's December 24, and Israel has launched a series of airstrikes in Syria. These strikes are not random. They are targeted attacks aimed at specific military installations and supply routes. The Israeli government has stated that these actions are necessary to protect their national security and to prevent the spread of extremist groups that have taken advantage of the power vacuum in Syria. These strikes are concentrated in the coastal region of Tartus. Tartus is a strategic location, home to a major port and several military bases. The area has been a focal point for various military operations, and control over Tartus is seen as crucial for maintaining influence in the region. The airstrikes have caused significant damage to infrastructure, further complicating the already dire humanitarian situation. This is a hypothetical scenario, but it highlights the volatile situation in the Middle East. The strikes are significant, not just for their immediate impact but for the broader implications they carry. The Middle East has long been a region of geopolitical tension, and any military action can have far-reaching consequences. The airstrikes serve as a reminder of the fragile balance of power and the ever-present risk of escalation. They are the most intense in the region since 2012. The airstrikes in 2012 were a turning point in the Syrian conflict, leading to widespread destruction and loss of life. The current situation is eerily reminiscent of those dark days, with the potential for even greater devastation. The international community is once again faced with difficult choices about how to respond. These attacks raise questions about the future of the region. What will become of Syria? Will it ever find stability, or is it doomed to remain a battleground for competing interests? The humanitarian toll is staggering, with millions displaced and countless lives lost. The future is uncertain and the path to peace seems more elusive than ever. They expose the complex relationships between different countries. The Middle East is a web of alliances and rivalries, and any action taken by one country can have ripple effects throughout the region. The airstrikes have drawn reactions from various international players, each with their own interests and agendas. Diplomatic efforts are underway, but finding common ground is a daunting task. The world is watching closely. News outlets around the globe are covering the events as they unfold, providing updates and analysis. Public opinion is divided, with some supporting the airstrikes as a necessary measure and others condemning them as reckless and dangerous. The situation is fluid and the stakes are incredibly high. The aftermath of these strikes could reshape the geopolitical landscape. The balance of power in the Middle East is delicate, and any shift can have profound implications. Analysts are debating the potential outcomes, from increased instability to the possibility of new alliances forming. The consequences of these actions will be felt for years to come. What happens next is uncertain, but the stakes are incredibly high. The future of the Middle East hangs in the balance, and the decisions made in the coming days and weeks will shape the region for generations. The world is holding its breath, waiting to see what unfolds in this high-stakes geopolitical drama. The conflict between Israel and Syria is decades old, rooted in a complex web of historical, political, and territorial disputes. The origins of this conflict can be traced back to the mid-20th century, following the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948. This event was a significant turning point, leading to a series of wars and skirmishes between the two nations. Over the years, the conflict has been marked by numerous military confrontations, including the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, the Six-Day War in 1967, and the Yom Kippur War in 1973. Each of these conflicts has left a lasting impact on the region, shaping the geopolitical landscape and influencing the policies of both nations. Russia has been a key player in this conflict, often acting as a mediator and a military ally. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union provided significant support to Syria, supplying military equipment and training. This relationship has continued into the modern era, with Russia maintaining a strong presence in the region. Russia has maintained a presence in Syria for many years, establishing military bases and deploying troops to support the Syrian government. This presence has been a critical factor in the ongoing conflict, providing the Syrian regime with the resources and support needed to maintain its hold on power. One of the most significant aspects of Russia's involvement in Syria is its naval base in Tartus. This base, established during the Cold War, has been a cornerstone of Russia's military strategy in the region, allowing it to project power and influence across the Mediterranean. The presence of this base has been a source of tension, not only between Russia and other regional powers, but also within Syria itself. Protests and demonstrations have erupted near the base, highlighting the local opposition to foreign military presence. The Tartus base gives Russia strategic influence in the region, allowing it to monitor and respond to developments in the Middle East. This influence extends beyond military capabilities, affecting diplomatic and economic relations as well. In 2017, Russia also expanded its Hmeimim air base, further solidifying its military presence in Syria. This expansion included the construction of new facilities and the deployment of additional aircraft, enhancing Russia's ability to conduct operations in the region. The expansion of the Hmeimim air base has further solidified Russia's position in Syria, making it a key player in the ongoing conflict. This move has allowed Russia to increase its military operations and support for the Syrian government, further entrenching its influence in the region. The involvement of Russia in the Israel-Syria conflict underscores the complex dynamics at play in the Middle East. The region is a tapestry of alliances, rivalries, and historical grievances, with each player seeking to advance their own interests. Understanding this conflict requires a deep dive into the historical context and the motivations of the key actors involved. In this hypothetical scenario, the city of Tartus found itself under a sudden and intense aerial bombardment. Israeli warplanes equipped with advanced weaponry and precision-guided munitions targeted specific locations with surgical precision. They struck key military sites in Tartus, aiming to cripple the strategic capabilities of the Syrian forces stationed there. Their primary objectives were the air defense units and missile depots, which were crucial for Syria's defensive and offensive operations. The strikes resulted in massive explosions that lit up the night sky, creating a scene of chaos and destruction. These explosions were felt far and wide, with shockwaves reverberating through the city and beyond, causing widespread panic among the residents. The aftermath of the strikes served as a stark reminder of the destructive power involved, leaving behind a trail of devastation and rubble. The intensity of the strikes shocked many, with civilians and military personnel alike struggling to comprehend the scale of the attack. The scale of the attack suggested a significant shift in Israeli strategy, indicating a more aggressive stance in the region. It signaled a potential escalation of the conflict, with increased military presence and heightened tensions in the Middle East, raising concerns about the future stability of the region. The explosions were incredibly powerful. They registered on seismic sensors as a 3.0 magnitude event. This is a testament to their force. The blasts were also detected by a magnetometer station. This station was 820 kilometers away. This demonstrates the far-reaching impact of the strikes. The secondary explosions were particularly telling. They indicated a large quantity of stored weaponry. This raised concerns about the potential for further escalation. Russia's response. Russia's response to the airstrikes was measured. They evacuated some diplomatic staff from Syria. This was a precautionary measure. Russia also withdrew warships from the region. This move aimed to protect their assets. It signaled their concern about the escalating situation. The future of Russia's bases in Syria is now uncertain. The situation is fluid. Russia's next steps will depend on various factors, including international pressure. The fall of Assad. In this hypothetical scenario, Bashar al-Assad is no longer in power. He has fled to Russia. This marks a significant turning point. A rebel coalition now controls Syria. This coalition is led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS. This group is known for its hardline stance. The fall of Assad creates a power vacuum. This has led to increased instability. The region is on edge, bracing for further conflict. Regional tensions escalate. The Israeli airstrikes in Tartus are part of a larger campaign. Israel has also launched attacks on Lebanon and Gaza. This has resulted in casualties. These attacks include the death of a Hamas member. Civilians have also been caught in the crossfire. This has sparked outrage and condemnation. These actions have heightened regional tensions. The situation is highly volatile. The international community is calling for restraint. A hypothetical future. It is important to remember that this is a hypothetical scenario. It is based on a possible future. However, it highlights the fragility of peace in the Middle East. The fall of Assad has created a new reality. The region is grappling with uncertainty. The potential for further conflict is high. The international community must work together. Dialogue and diplomacy are crucial. Only then can a lasting peace be achieved.